It is not looking good for the cinematic universes out here right now, Mr. Benja.
Geez, man, I think they're trying something, but it's almost like they don't just want to be good. They want to do stuff, but not be good.
They want to do stuff but not be good. I love it.
You kind of know what I'm getting at?
I do. He putting everything on the table. It doesn't matter. Just be interesting. But isn't that what James Gunn does a lot of times? Is it good? Is it tasteful? Maybe. Hey everyone, this is Show versus Business, where pop culture meets pop money with me, the real Theo Harvey.
And me, Mr. Benja.
Mr. Benja, let's get right into it. DCU, MCU. Are they going to fail?
At the same time?
Probably.
I don't know, man.
It is not looking good for the cinematic universes out here right now, Mr. Benja. James Gunn is out here in these streets doing what he does, which is wilding. Peacemaker final finale entered, and it was very mixed bag. And then MCU dropped a bunch of stuff at the New York Comic Con recently, and I don't know what they're doing anymore. I don't know, Mr. Benja. It doesn't look too good for our two favorite, or used to be our two favorite cinematic universes. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I haven't looked at the NYCC report. We can go through that a little later, right? We'll go through that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
we'll
got
go
the
through that.
NYCC report. Also, the new Wonderman trailer came out. I thought it was interesting, but I was in my chill mode, so I was not thinking about how the world would react. I come back later, and it's much of go woke, go broke, and I think this is artsy and it's a trip. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, here we go again on the MCU side, and the DC side. As you said with Gunn. Geez, man, I think they're trying something, but it's almost like they don't just want to be good. They want to do stuff, but not be good. And that's an interesting thing.
They want to do stuff but not be good. I love it. Let's mark that, James.
You,
That's the title.
you kind of know what I'm getting at.
I do. He putting everything on the table. It doesn't matter. Just be interesting. But isn't that what James Gunn does a lot of times? Just be interesting. Is it good? Is it tasteful? Maybe.
Going back to trauma, it's like, you know, yeah, that's a kind of a whole thing, where it's like, dude, what's this about? Oh man, let me tell you, it's this rock, right? And this rock has a girlfriend, and they go out dating. Like, what? It's like that's weird. And it's like, yeah, but you should watch it anyway. Okay, that'll play for trauma, but how long can you do that for mainstream? Or is that mainstream now?
Well, he be a studio head and a writer director. Very interesting combo, and it's like I don't know if it's working well, but yeah, we'll get into all that, Mr. Benja. Man, how was your week, man? Let's get into just checking in on each other like we normally do.
Checking in. You know, um, oh, you want to get back to checking in because we used okay. Because I was thinking, just the meat of it. But yeah, dog, I'm in a different place, man. I'm telling you, this whole book writing adventure has changed me, and I think the Wonder Man trailer really made me recognize that. I'm not going to get into it just yet, but it's like I was watching it and I was sitting back thinking, hmm, let me see what they're trying to do. Let me understand it a little more. And one of the they even referenced Trevor, who I
Mhm.
used to get really mad at. Like when Iron Man 3 came out, dude, I was throwing popcorn in the air, my half eaten hot dog at the screen. I was upset that Trevor existed in the way he did. Over time, I've
So
come
did
to
you did
accept
you
it.
like him when he showed up in Shang-Chi as well?
No, uh, I got it. I was like, okay, he's the comic relief character, and it made more sense there, you know. But then they had to pair him up with the farting angel dog with no head, whatever that thing was, and it took away some of the uh, from Shang Chi, but that wasn't so much of a problem because it's comic relief, it's weirdness or whatever. I just I just didn't connect with what they were trying to do with the movie. Like, you have movie auteurs and people behind the scenes, and they have this whole idea about cinema. And they're like, okay, Now we got this whole comic thing. Let's use comics, and once we get past the comic stuff, then we can start telling the stories we want to. And it's like, oh, that's what we're doing now. But as I said, I saw the Wonderman trailer, and it had Trevor in it, and I didn't get triggered. I was like, huh, I've grown. So
No, it only took what, 8 years? I don't know when's the last time Iron Man 3 came out. But yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah, man. So obviously you said you're doing some new things and, really evolving yourself. So is that, kind of what you were kind of focused on this week with all this news with, coming out from MCU and DCU, just kind of really focused on some of the projects you're launching here soon?
well, just watching people do their thing and doing my thing myself. Just the book I'm writing is about thoughts. So being able to step outside of yourself and look at thoughts and how you think, thinking about thinking, you start to separate yourself from not only your own emotions, but from other people's emotions. And not, I shouldn't say separate yourself, but find a common ground. Like, no, I can see that. Oh, I understand where they're coming from. You get more angles and perspectives, and you're a little more nuanced. Um, so, and I guess this is what I had to do to stop myself from throwing my computer out the window when I became angry because I had to move one paragraph 2 chapters earlier, and that would destroy the entire flow, right? Um, so yeah, just I guess I'm saying creativity made me feel better about life, and I'm not mad that the DCU and the MCU will both fall, fail, done.
End, end of an era.
Yeah, I
Well,
think they're going down, man. I think they're going down.
yeah, yeah. Well, they never go fully to zero, but it'll be back to what we recognize. I think we just had a moment in time where it became the culture, right? There was a period for most of our life, adult lives, or childhoods, right, where
Uh huh.
being a comic book person was like, subgenre that you kind of, I heard at least, from a lot of folks. And, and when I found, somebody that resonate with me, I said, yeah, let's go around the back, and let's go talk. What you got? You got that new Akira? Yeah, I bet your house tonight. Stuff like that. But it does well. Let's just say there is other culture now, right? We just talked about Demon Slayer, Hunters. We talked about anime, right? That's on the rise. My kids love that stuff. But just this period of time when it was, and video game movies, right, are on the rise.
Hmm.
But this period of time where we're talked about, comic book movies, being the thing that was driving entertainment, I think that is coming down to a different level set, right? And so that's going to change Hollywood movie making, because they predicated making billions off of these movies because they were so cinematic, right? Seeing people shoot, you know, laser beams from their eyes or from their hands or flying. That's cinematic, right? That's something
Yeah.
you just want to see. And picking up a big train or something and throwing it at somebody and seeing explosions. That's very cinematic. But if we don't have that anymore with these big explosions, what are movies anymore, right? And so we can kind of talk about that later. But yeah, Mr. Benja, and I would say this: you're thinking about thinking. That is kind of what they tell you about when you meditate, right? It
Hmm.
gives you time to reflect when you kind of clear your mind. It creates that reaction time before you react from a stimulus, right? And it increases that time, so you have time to reflect and don't make that such an emotional response. And I think what the Gen Zers would say, you're giving your thoughts space. You create space for it. I think that's what they
Yes.
call it.
We're creating a space.
Yes, yes,
It's
you
not so
create space.
closed. It's more open. It's better that
Space,
way. It's
creating
more closed.
space. I think that's the term of the 2020s, man, creating space. I mean, I hear it in sports too, about like, oh, you gotta have space for the man, so you can, move and maneuver, spread out the offense, and then
Yeah.
now creating space in your mind for your creative thoughts and ideas. So, Mr. Benja, for my week, real quick, before we get into all the things, I was talking about you. I don't know if your ears are burning. this week. But yeah, I was talking to my team, inspiring them, Mr. Benja. We had a team meeting from all across the country. My team members for my company came and met in Atlanta, Georgia, and we all got together and had a good time. And I was like, man, what am I going to talk to him about, right? And so I've been working on some public speaking skills. I said, I'm going to come up with a speech about, being how to be inspired, doing hardships, you know, being innovative in the workplace, and then interpersonal collaboration, right? All the I's, right? Use alliteration. And when I came to innovation, I looked at the definition for it, and it was about implementation of novel new ideas, product solutions uh, for to create a value or to solve a problem. And I mentioned you, Mr. Benja. I said, man, this is the guy that is the most creative guy I know. He comes up with ideas. He's an artist. He came from artists, video game industry, and so that's just his mo, right? And just coming up. I guarantee, Mr. Benja, you probably have 100 ideas a day, right? And so I think that is something, I say, hey, team, once you get those ideas, you got to capture them. If you don't. So, Mr. Benja, I'll put it out here. Once the book launched, let me know. I'll get it for my team. And I'll get it out to them.
Yes, we can do a whole Zoom thing on taking down, your task, ideas, your positive thoughts, negative thoughts, your feelings, your sketches,
Absolutely.
your I'm missing
Because
two: communications and your
I think
curiosities.
that's so key because
Mm,
people forget that first part, implementation.
yeah,
And sometimes there's a gap between the thought and the implementation. So the fastest path to implementation is to write something down so you can move in
exactly.
that direction. So I think I'm a big believer in that. Anytime I have an idea, if I'm going to send an email to someone, even if I'm not going to send it right away, I just create a draft for it. Or if there's something I need to do, I just put it on my calendar as soon as I have the idea, as opposed to waiting and say, hey, let me think about it. Let me mull over. Should I do this? Is it Tuesday or is it Thursday? No, get it out and
Yeah,
move.
you ever use the reminders app or
I
your
tried
reminders
to
icon?
use it. Yeah, I played
So,
around with it. And this doesn't work for me. So
so
I rather.
one thing I found out you could do is you can do location based reminders.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, next time I'm here, ask your phone, hey Google or hey Siri or whatever. Next time I'm in this location or near this location, remind me to, like if I'm in the store, remind me to pick up blank next time. Remind me to pick up paper towels next time. So I'll just be going, and then I'll get in the parking lot of the store. And it's like, oh, someone texts me. I look at my phone. It's like, hey, remember next time you're supposed to be here, you're supposed to get this. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Next
Yeah.
time you're at so next time,
I have an app like that, Mr. Benja.
yeah,
You know what it's called?
kids.
Wife. The wife app.
I was gonna say that, but
You
I
beat
didn't
me to
know.
punchline.
I didn't know if I was in that space where I could say that. So I
The
said
wife app.
kids.
The wife app is it's not free. It's the most expensive thing you ever buy, but it's
I
definitely
heard it's
worth
highly
it.
effective.
It can be very effective because guess what? You can never turn it off. So,
Yep.
yes, but yeah, I love it, man. That's smart, man. You know what? It's so true, man. Didn't the memory experts say like the best way to capture memory is associated with a physical space? Because how many times I've traveled places and I can
Yep.
remember exactly what podcast I was listening to. Like just the other day, I was at this Burger King I hadn't been to in like 2 years. And I
Yep.
remember exactly what podcast I was listening to, what I was doing.
Yep.
I was like, dang, I haven't thought about that podcast in like 2 years.
So you want me to let you know why that happens?
Why?
So okay, we have something called feelings, right?
Mhm.
Feelings, and
Yes.
we equate that to emotions, but they're
I
slightly
I
different.
have feelings. Yes, I have feelings.
So their feelings and their emotions, they're slightly different. I won't get into the big difference, but feelings come basically from the idea of having a sense for something. You sense, you feel, you touch, you hear, you smell. When someone's, you listen. These are all based on the sensations that you get from your physical and internal systems. So when you're out somewhere, you've got a time kind of thing that you're sensing because that's also a
Mhm.
sense, but not one of the normal five. You got a time, you're with your friends, you're doing whatever, you may be sad, down, lonely, or whatever you're feeling, your different emotions at that time. So you've got all these different senses hitting you that are marking
Gotcha.
down that information, all of it at that same time. So if when you have all those senses happening and you mark a moment in your head, it's not just like, oh yeah, I was here and I ordered a burger. So it's like, no, I was here, ordered a burger, I smelled this, I was in this part of my life. My family was with me, so I had family feelings. I was hungry, tired. It was cold outside, and I decided not to get a
Mm.
shake. I decided to get the hot
Mhm.
fudge sundae because it had the hot fudge on it. All these things are coming together all at once. These senses, and that's what they add to your feelings. So when you take it down, if you ever take it down, like take a picture, write a reminder, a note, anything like that that can pin that to that location, that time, it will matter so much more to you because of all those sensations you had, your feelings, basically.
That makes sense. I mean, and my mentor, when it comes to like speaking, he talks about that too, creating environments where when you talk about something, you can say he talks about going through all the different avenues, but you say how you felt. You talk about what the smells were like. You get just
Mhm.
say this is a picture, what it looks like, right? This is I was this is what happens, and you show what food was on or was the celebrity. So you try to connect one idea to as many senses as possible, so it sticks in their brain, and they'll
Yes,
be
yes.
like, oh, wow, what he talked about was so inspiring. That's because I talked about I did like 8 different metaphors for inspiring using all
Yeah,
these different senses. Of course, I gonna remember that, if
yeah.
nothing else. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense, man. The more senses you involve in the memory mechanism, but also I think just like when I was reading some books about like memory. They talk about like imagine places in your house, and that's where your memory goes, right?
Hmm.
Like if I'm in my room, because spatially you can see the different spaces in your room. If you physically like put something in your brain, it's almost like you were walking there to put that in your room. So that's a sense, you're recreating
Hmm.
that sense of walking, putting something down, that tactile feeling of putting papers down in your mental capacity.
Yeah.
So you're creating these feelings and emotions and senses, in your mental mind space. So yeah, it's man, these minds are powerful things. I mean, we're only using 10% of our brains. You know that, Mr. Benja? We're just
Well,
only using
that's what
10%.
Well, if you look at the studies, they basically say, yeah.
Mm.
By the way, we know that it's not true as it's stated, but as a as a when people say you're only using 10%, using the whole brain, but our capacity is probably 10 times. We can probably hit 10 times the capacity of our heads if we really start working things out. Speaking of 10x is greater than whatever you're thinking.
Well, and also, Mr. Benja, you know how much energy it takes to create, man. Sometimes, I'm so used to like, just uh, creating space or just kind of maneuvering things, to kind of get things moving in a certain direction, kind of orchestra. I'm more of an orchestrator, hey, they gotta do this, they gotta do that, is this all working together? Here's a new idea I want to implement, but I'm gonna make them do it. So I'm pretty good at that piece of it,
Hmm.
right? But when it comes to actually sitting create, so I had to kind of create a speech. Whew, I was like, oh, I don't have well the challenge with me, I didn't have a process. And I understand now why the creative process is so key because you get stuck if you don't have a process because first you create the process and then you create the work of art and
Yeah.
that's a lot of energy that requires that. So once I
Well,
kind
the
of create the
process, yeah,
process.
the process to break you out of your process, the process to
Yeah,
get you into the
yes,
process. There's
yes,
all kinds of stuff, man.
yes. Yeah, man, because I was sitting there, I was like, so my process to create speeches, I was okay, let me I need a notepad so I can just write. Because if I sit there and go on the internet, I'm going to be freaking, getting distracted every 2 seconds. So I said, let me get my notepad. So I started writing stuff down. And if I need something, I just say, check GPT or Google later, right? And put a question mark. But then, I get stuck. Like, okay, what ideas? Well, I had this piece of paper somewhere where I had these ideas. So I'm looking through all these scraps of paper to find this random idea or some email I sent to myself 2 years ago about an idea. Oh, I can put that idea in there, but I forgot exactly what it meant.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if you see it. There might be a little blank here. I might be a
There
little bit
was.
slower. Yeah, but James fix it in post. Uh, but anyway, I mean, now I understand your people don't understand. I mean, I don't create as much as probably you do, but now that I'm trying to create, these speeches and having conversations, it's a lot, man. It's a mental process to create your processes, do the work, and then evaluate the work. And to your point, you have to have processes for each of those stages, or you
Yeah.
get out of that flow. And so anyway, yeah, it's so when you say 10% of your brain capacity, yeah, you're using a lot of energy just to even start that process of building out something new and creating something that's unique and different. That's coming from your experiences, as opposed to using AI to create something that's fake and phony.
Like, you know who doesn't like AI?
Who's that?
Jim Lee.
Uh-oh,
You
what
heard
did he
you heard
say?
it? You heard what he was talking about? Nah, you were talking about AI earlier and creativity and all that. Jim Lee, um, he's like the head guy at DC now, at least on the comic side. He just said, we will never use AI at all. It's not going to be part of our writing. It's not going to be part of our art.
Ooh,
If I catch someone using AI, I'm gonna punch him in the mouth. Um,
dang.
well, he didn't say all that, but you know, artistic
Jim
license with
Lee.
that. Yeah, man.
I call cap on that. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a
He,
buck.
you know, he did. There was that one DC comic that got out that everybody was talking about was AI generated, but
Exactly.
I'm
I mean,
not
I
gonna.
get it. It's the battle for AI now, right? So comic book writers, uh, uh, you know, our actresses and actors are fighting it, right? We talked about the AI actress that's out there now trying to get jobs and all the things around that. But the latest and greatest is Mr. Beast is out here fighting the AI slop world. I think you sent this to me about Mr.
Yeah.
He
Well, you
said
started it.
on
Yeah.
yeah, I started it. Well, Mr. Beast. So a couple weeks ago, I think Sora, the new AI, open AI social media platform got launched. And yeah, I was kind enough to, get access, and Mr. Benja got access as well.
Yep.
First of all, have you played with it much? I played with it that first week. I haven't played with it as much. I was gonna go back to it probably this week to see what's changed, what's different. Have you done anything since the last time we spoke?
I haven't done too much with it, but as far as the social side, man, it kind of creeped me out.
Mm,
I mean, so I kind of stepped back from it because I was like, creepy.
creepy how? What yeah. How
So
unpack that?
seeing like one of a thing, is okay. Like if you see, uh, one robot, but then if you see like just a screen full of robots or whatever creeps you out, it's like it's kind of weird. And something about just scrolling past these, like, ugh. I'm looking at it now. I'm like, there's one with the queen. There's a guy swimming in like pit of money. Um, yeah, it's just okay. You know how when you walk into a restaurant and you see all the stuff that they're doing in the kitchen, and you're like, whoa, that's too much going on in there. There's like steam, and then a guy with the big pot, and then you know there's something getting slammed down, and you see a guy pulling something red out the freezer, and you're like, what the hell was that? Was that a tomato or a heart? I don't even know, or it could have been an apple. Just there's so much going on, and suddenly you're like not as turned on by your food. You may be fascinated by it, but it's just like such a crazy thing going on in there, and people yelling and shouting, and just like people doing people stuff. But then, this nice, calm person, comes out with your plate and, hi, here's your food, da da. And you're thinking, no, no, there's a whole bunch of stress involved in this plate. There's something about it that feels a little different now that I had to look in the kitchen. So I got that feeling with Sora, where it was just like watching all of it. I was like, I can't look at this for too long.
No, I agree, man. I mean, something simple as like, seeing yeah, oh, I'm watching a guy. Yeah, I see the guy with money, with coins. I don't know if you see
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
the one I was. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, yeah, man. Yeah. I try to create stuff with basketball themes. My son loves basketball. I said, can I create one with a 10-year-old slamming the basketball? Nah, man, because physically it can't compute yet of how that physics would work of a 5'6" 10-year-old jumping up to a 9-foot basket and dunking. So yeah, man, it's just a weirdness. And so anyway, we bring that all up is because, like, obviously the marketers are in play. Oh, it's a new social media platform. You gotta get on it today and put something out there and do it and be the first, and so you can win. And Mr. Beast is out here saying, hold up. So he put this on Twitter. When AI videos are just as good as normal videos, they're not there yet, but they will be potentially. I wonder, Mr. B said, what that will do to YouTube and how it will impact the millions of creators currently making content for a living. Scary times. And it got 6.5 million views. So yes, this is something, obviously he has some concern about, but hey, dude, someone could blame that you created this whole environment in the first place. Creating content that was really building for the algorithm, which is also AI generated.
His old AI looking thumbnails. He needs to stop.
Exactly. And creating content that's really feeding into the algorithm as opposed to, not granted he's so big now that he's probably pushing the algorithm certain directions with his, altruism and stuff like that. But not at first. He was putting out a lot of slop. I'm gonna sleep with a dead person for 100 days. Bury me alive for 6 months.
Sleep with the dead person that's comedy.
I mean, I think he did it. So there you go.
He would do it.
He did it for the views. That's all he cared about. So even he would admit that. So anyway, I don't know, man. This whole slop, the shitification of everything, is really hitting AI hard. And look, I mean, I think I sent you another. Did I send you another one? We haven't talked on the business side of AI, but man, this is scary times. People are really hinting that we're at a bubble phase now. Reason why this came up recently is not just because of the massive amount of money that's going to all these AI companies, but what they're doing now is they're propping each other up. So for instance, OpenAI just did a deal with NVIDIA, who makes the most majority chips for AI, where they're going to invest. I think OpenAI is going to invest $100 million in NVIDIA, and at the same time, NVIDIA will provide all these chips and get money from OpenAI to do more development. So it's like, wait a minute. So you guys are going to say we got more revenue, but because each other is going to build on the other's platform so we can grow at the same time. And we saw that similarly during Bitcoin era, and we saw that during the .com era, where people were like making deals with each other to improve their revenue, but really they were both based on. And so they say, "Oh, look at this revenue! Look at this growth!" But you're selling to each other.
Yeah. So to make an example, let's see if we can get an example out of this. So you have like a coffee shop, and then across the street you have a donut shop, and the coffee shop says, "Hey, we sell donuts," and the donut shop says, "Hey, we sell coffee," but they're really just buying from each other and saying, "Well, we've got this much in coffee sales, and we've got this much in donut sales." So, do you really have that many? Is that much money really coming in, or are you talking about what you're partnering up with?
Exactly. So and just to get more money from investors. And so so that was one thing that happened this week. And then prior to that, there was an MIT report that said the ROI for all this investment is not going to be there in the next couple of years, right? It's going to take a lot longer to see a return on investment on your AI infrastructure. So basically, if you are buying all these software tools and all that to make your enterprise more AI efficient, you're just not going to get there. And I, as someone who's using it actively in our businesses, I can tell you for a fact where we'll get something about 80-90% there. That last 10% is always the beast, because I just can't figure out that one. Like, for instance, I'm trying to get a landing page up and it just messes one little thing where we can't download the PDF from the landing page. So trying to figure out why that is a bear, because the code is all gobbledygook. So you bring in a consultant come in to say, oh, what happened here? They say, you know what? I can't read this. Let's just start from scratch. Like, oh crap. so,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like, what do we even do that for? Because the consultant can't go from that 90% level to get to the 10% because it doesn't have the logic what the AI came up with.
yeah. I knew a programmer like that. Um, no, we went to him whenever we need something banged out really quickly. We're like, hey man, we're trying to do this, this, and this, and you have people standing around his cubicle. It's like, can we get something? And he's like, all right, it's one of those jobs. I got you. So he'd get in there, start doing all kinds of stuff, and he had his little special comment tag in the code, like please do not touch, and if you do this, watch out for that, and da da da. Like, oh, what's going on? Man, I went through some of this guy's code. Let me tell you, in all my in all my 13 years of game development and professional software development, I had never seen an actual go to inside C code that launched you to some way off far part of the code that made absolutely no sense to me. So I'm just following along like, okay, it's kind of messy, but I think I can, okay, there's some assembly. Okay, it's just rearranging stuff. I'm not exactly sure how it's working, but it's rearranging some things, some data structures. Okay, and they go to what the hell? Where is it going? And it just went out, but never came back. And I was like, how is the code still running? It was in the middle of a graphics routine, and then it like jumped over to like figuring out the character logic, and I'm like, I don't get it, but it worked. So yeah, we had a guy like that, uh, and the fact that that guy is now turned into AI is a scary prospect because
Yeah,
we
because
needed
you can't
like
go.
6 guys to unravel what he did.
Yeah, you can't go to his AI's cubicle. Like, hey man, so what'd you do?
Right.
yeah, man.
Does
So
does
anyway,
out
so
does
it's
outlining work? Like, does outlining work? Like when you set up a code outline and then have it just do a lot of the you make stub functions
you know what?
basically,
I'm
and
not
then
at that level yet. I mean, my co-founder, he's using it pretty extensively in some of the stuff we're developing, but I think he's very restrictive, than I am.
yeah,
So he can probably get more details. But I guarantee he's like really cautious of what it can get produced before he puts it out there.
and the
Since we're
dangers of like
yeah, and especially in healthcare and the stuff that we do, we just gotta be careful what we use it for. So I would just say that I get the concerns with people when this AI stuff from comic book industry to influencers to Hollywood. It's a lot.
are you against like as a consumer, like you're watching something or you're thinking about buying a comic or a manga or something, does the prospect of it being generated by AI bother you?
Somewhat, and but if it's not noticeable, I'm not going to worry about too much.
I don't think it was NYCC, but you just reminded me of a story. I think there was a guy who got ejected from Artist Alley in the artist section of a con because he was using AI art and they kicked him out.
Well, that there it is. well, it's like everybody's using it until you get caught. That's kind of just like steroids. I feel like this is the steroids era of creativity. Remember in baseball,
Yeah,
you remember that? I mean, that was a big thing. The big home run rally. You had Barry
yeah.
Bonds, you had Sammy
Mark
Sosa, Mark
McGuire.
McGuire. See, even you know that, and they were just hitting them
Yeah,
bombs, man, bombs away. Come to find out, they were in that clear, baby. They were getting that clear,
juicing.
man. They were juicing the juice,
What's in
and
that cup?
exactly. And so I think they got caught, and then everything got kind of pulled back. But during the time, people were loving it. So I do feel like we are in the clear phase of of AI, where people are like, but Mr. Benja, I guarantee there are going to be apps AI that's going to find other AI. So you're really going to have AI fighting AI to kind of wash this stuff out a little bit. So like I said, I think it's just a tool, and I think human beings are going to use the tools like they see fit. There will be some good
Yeah,
ones, some bad ones, but we won't know this until another 5 years. How where we're at.
yeah. I think with all this, cutting back on studio budgets and um, the funding, Marvel just left Georgia to work in the UK. So all
Really
their
didn't know that.
yeah. So they were doing a lot of production in California. That got too expensive, so they started jumping out to Louisiana and
Oh yeah.
Georgia. and then all of a sudden it's
That
like,
was a
well,
big
screw
thing,
y'all.
yeah. I remember that, man. I was there living there where I would, run into classmates when I was doing grad school, and they
Hmm.
would run into Robert Downey Jr. playing ping pong at the
Yeah,
local
exactly.
spot downtown. It was like so yeah, I mean, and obviously, Tyler Perry built his big studios, and so there was a lot of Hollywood productions coming to Georgia. And they actually, I think the business model was they created a tax incentive for them to do so, right? If they came,
Hmm.
they were able to sell what they call tax credits to high net worth individuals. So basically, if I paid $1 million to get $1 million tax credits, I can use that to write off multi millions in tax liabilities. So I'd have to pay as many taxes. So that's
Yeah.
why they were getting millions of dollars from investors for production in Atlanta. But yeah, that's interesting. They're trying to leave and go to you said where they're going now? They're leaving to go to where?
Somewhere in the
UK.
UK.
That's right.
Yeah.
Pine Studio, I think that's the name of it. So I heard about that.
Yeah, and the thing about AI is, and having a hard stance against it, you have to get everybody to agree. And I mean everybody. Otherwise, you're just going to get overrun by some upstart who does some crap that people think is funny and does it for cheap and then gets, a lot of backing for it. Like, um, speaking of Tyler Perry, who who stopped hiring all these people and stopped building all this stuff that he was building because he learned about AI and got wise to the game. It's like Marvel and DC are like, yeah, we're not doing AI in our movies. We're not doing that. Tyler Perry will be like, shoo, I'll use AI. It's like, all right, there we go.
Well, that's Tyler Perry.
Oh yeah.
He's probably been using it for years anyway. I mean, I mean, look, I ain't gonna lie, as a business owner, I can see the appeal of AI because of labor costs, right? And AI is not going to complain. AI is going to work. AI is going to do all the things that human beings, may or may not do. And I think that is the challenge of owners, trying to the delicate balance of when you need and when you don't need AI, right? And I was very open in front with my team. I say, hey, look, guys, we're a forward thinking company. So look, if you guys want to be a part of this whole process, then I think that's something that you want to start embracing in technology and what that means for your jobs.
Yeah.
And those that do will survive.
So check this out. I just found this article. Um, Speaking of survival, you got 50 Cent who survived 9 shots. He's been in the movie industry and doing things with Stars and Power Series and all that. He's been making big moves in Louisiana. So apparently he had a visit with Tyler Perry. This is from Yahoo Tech News, which is sourced from. Oh, it's actually from Yahoo. It's from Afrotech. Okay, never mind. Yahoo be biting content and posting it as their own. Anyway, in this article, it says 50 Cent made a trip to visit Tyler Perry Studios and shares he was exposed to different technologies during his time, including the integration of AI powered platform Sora. Yeah, 50 Cent said he hit me to different companies that are creating technology that are making the old way of filming stuff obsolete.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, and he also talks about in 50's words, this is another part of it. So he is like, they had this big major screen, like this big oval shaped backdrop that you shoot the digital content on. I'm telling you, he was explaining, breaking down how fast this technology is changing. Stuff you could do with AI is crazy. Yep, according to 50 Cent. So 50 Cent and Tyler Perry making AI while people in at Marvel and DC complaining.
Yeah, well, but let's be honest, they're using AI too. Don't let them fool you. It's a marketing game. Uh Mr. Benja, man, who may or may not be using AI but is getting some flack right now?
Does his name start with James and end with something rhyming with fun?
That is correct. Mr.
Oh,
James G. Gunn. I don't know what
bang
his
bang.
middle name is, but yeah, man. I know you have been watching Peacemaker. I just know what it is. Did you see the first season at all, at least?
Yeah, I saw the first season.
Okay. So the second season got released, 8 episodes. This was the first post Superman, Superman didn't make $1 billion, but it was a top superhero movie of the year, right? There's no more superhero movies coming out. People loved it, man. I mean, I was very surprised how many people loved that movie. I thought it was a little weird in some places, but I dug it. I'm a comic book guy. But what blew my mind was that my wife, who's not a comic book person at all, dug it. I was like, even the part with the black hole, even the part with the with the little parallel universes and all this other. Oh yeah, that was great. I was like, wow. I guess I'm not a good storyteller to my wife, man, because she was digging that.
There's a there's a there's a certain amount of genius to be able to spark
Exactly.
that in people. So you know,
I mean, and so obviously he's done enough content where you start to see the same themes over and over, right? He's gonna have some stuff about animals. He's gonna have some needle drops, right? Some soft rock or some polka, or he's gonna find some kind of interesting movie take, music take that you never saw, and it's about some misfits, right? It's always some weird characters in there that you grow to love, and it's because he has lovable, takes on it. And he's got some weirdness that's just like, what is this in here, man? Some gross out thing, some overly sexualized thing that just doesn't make sense. That's just what he does, man. And he's gonna have his friends and family all up in his movies. So it's like you get that concoction of James Gunn of it all, and this unmatched promotion that he does.
yeah,
It's just a weird combination that can work. I mean, I'm not mad at him, man. That does work in a lot of cases. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy too. If you didn't get a little misty eyed with Rocket, when he was growing up and the pain he endured, you done got a heart, man. You ain't got a heart. I'm sorry.
I
That
got
was
to
good
agree with you
stuff.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was good
Uh,
stuff. I mean,
you mean three? You mean three, right?
so yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, excuse me if I didn't
Three,
say
three.
that.
Okay.
So yeah, when he did the whole Rocket, the raccoon backstory and how he was tortured and all that, and it was just he knows how to do those things. So I say all to say is Peacemaker got mixed reviews. The final just happened. It was supposed to be the first post Superman endeavor, and he was promoting it. Oh, this is going to be like, oh, we're going to reveal some things. There's going to be continuation of Superman in so many words. And there were pieces in there, and we talked about last time. Spoiler alert, you haven't seen it, so turn off this video now. Uh, Turn it off now if you haven't seen Peacemaker season 2. But Lex Luthor does show up, and so has some moments there. And there are some continuation storylines and some characters from Superman,
Hmm.
but it almost felt like a Funhouse mirror version, and it was almost like, hey everybody, here's a cardboard printout of Metropolis. This is not the real Metropolis, but look, yeah, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
Here's some puppets that look like people from Superman that are going to show up, and it didn't feel like really connected to a thematic uh universe, like Marvel can. And
Yeah.
to the detriment of Marvel, some people said that paper cutter feel was what pushed people away, right? It was the sameness of it all. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Totally.
so I think a lot of folks felt a little bit disappointed. It was definitely character driven, but it didn't really kind of tie into the bigger narrative. And I think, for how did I feel about it? It had moments. I think we revealed last time. Again, spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Peacemaker season 2, they actually
Uh,
went to Earth X, which is a parallel universe where Earth where Nazis won World War II, and
yeah.
so it was kind of paid for the laughs a little bit, and there was some dark parts in it. When you have a black woman being chased down the street by an angry white mob, it's kind of how much laughs are we going to get out of this? That kind of thing.
Right. Right.
But so he was kind of flirting around with some real kind of topics, but then was like so quick. It was like, forget that. We're just gonna get back to, dick jokes and, and other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Just we don't have time for serious concourse. So anyway, make a long story short, I just say that with this, and obviously Creature Commandos got released, kind of got mixed reviews from an animation standpoint. Uh, wh- is James Gunn, is he just kind of out here in these streets just playing with house money because he knows something? And the rumor is, if you didn't know, David Zaslav is trying to sell off Warner Brothers as soon as he can. And right
Juicy.
now, David Ellison is on a buying spree. That basically he is the son of Larry Ellison, who owns Oracle, and he
Yeah.
just bought out Paramount. And now there's a rumor that he's looking to buy out Warner Brothers too. So if that happens, the rumor is James Gunn will no longer be a part of Warner Brothers. And so maybe he's wind of that and he knows his days are numbered. So he's just putting anything and whatever he wants out there from a DC standpoint. And there's no plan. There's no plan.
Well, I mean, so okay, if it gets sold off, so I guess he doesn't have a deal where they keep him on automatically, or
I don't know what his deal is specifically, but I mean, be honest with you, anytime you sell a company, there's no guarantees that the previous leadership is going to stay, right? I mean, it's just like a
yeah, definitely,
sports team, the coach gets fired. I mean, his coaching staff is gone too. Why
yeah,
was a new coach, he may or may not keep you. It just depends. Because you might be a snitch. You might be trying to
yeah,
self-sabotage me, or you might not listen to my way of doing things. And so, that's just, oh, have you ever seen that before in corporate America? Like I saw that time when I still worked at Cisco where there was a big push to see who's going to be CEO of Cisco, right? Before when
yeah,
our
hmm
CEO, John Chambers, left. And so when the guy that everybody thought was going to get it didn't get it, he left like literally the next day. He was gone. So it's like, well, why stick around? I didn't get the job, so I can get paid elsewhere and be someone else's
No,
number
there's
two.
like a no, there's like a whole downcline too, man. I don't know if people get that in the corporate game. It's just like all the chips go to the other side, and people are like, "Hey, what about this guy? He's been doing this for years, and the chips didn't go his way. Sorry."
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
It literally is like that. I saw that
Who is
firsthand
that?
when they chose.
Who is that CEO that made it famous? Because he followed Napoleon's rule of only picking lucky people. He's like,
Wow.
so like this guy is skilled. He's done this and that. He's got all these accolades. All the numbers are right. He's got this many troops. But this guy, I don't know. This guy is just lucky, man. He's been working it out and doing this, and somehow he still survived. While this major general over here, he was unlucky too many times. Even though he's got all these accolades and all these soldiers behind him, it's like, you know what? I'm going with the lucky guy. So Napoleon
Hmm.
was kicking ass by going with people who were just lucky.
Interesting. I never heard that story before. Is that true?
Yeah,
Wow.
there was a CEO that was talking about that, where he was like, yeah, two guys in the room and all these things that they've done, and he's like, you know what? Somehow, and I don't know how, this guy ended up at these 17 companies, and didn't get fired. Meanwhile, this other fool who's got all these degrees and stuff he's talking all this noise. He probably knows more, but he's just not lucky. Huh. At the very worst, we can get some more
Interesting.
of these Harvard guys to work for the lucky guy.
Interesting. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, I think momentum is a big thing. We talk about that sometimes on this podcast, and you have someone that has momentum that's on the upswing. Maybe they have momentum to kind of keep the whole business going in the upswing. Yeah, but you're right. It's where the chips fall, and so to your original point, uh, will James Gunn be? He may keep it, right? Let's say Superman. Now there's rumors to say that Superman may be underperformed, right? Especially overseas. It got what 800 billion, 600 billion. How much did Superman make this year? But it didn't get to a billion, and then it vastly underperformed overseas, right? And so people are seeing that Creature Commandos and Peacemaker are not trending at all on the TV charts.
You know what is a problem, at least for me, and that I'm seeing from my just point of view side of things. It's just not interesting. Like it's his whole offering is weird and goofy and quirky, but there's no interest to hang my hat on. There's no, um, I'm going to see this because what is it because it's James Gunn? Okay, I don't care who it is. I'm just whatever. It's a Superman movie. Okay, that might be good enough, but it's just based on name. it's not like it come in as like, you know what, this is the first story of, you know, Batman doing or Superman doing or something. He could have said something like, "Okay, this is the first time we get to see Guy Gardner and da 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 da," and it's like, okay, that's maybe an interesting hook from my point of view. A lot of people don't need that, and that's fine. But I think you have more of an uphill climb if you don't have something that gets that hook, that log line interest.
Yeah, so I'm looking at here, Superman. It does make sense. I think well, he tried to create this whole remember he had like a video him and the White Void talking about first, it's gonna be gods and monsters and blah blah blah. Then we're gonna do this. And we talk about Batman, the boat. I don't think any of that's gonna happen, to be honest with you, personally. Because what remember he talked about the gods and monsters aspect of like the first phase of the DCU and all this other stuff. But it does seem like he's kind of double it down there, Superman family stuff, right? So he's got this Clay movie, what's it called? Clayface movie coming out, kind of pseudo horror. Then he's got, sequel to Superman, right? That's supposed to be with Brainiac. What before that, he's supposed to have Supergirl coming out next year. So that's a lot of Superman content coming out in the span of like 2 years.
Did you
So
see the promo pic of Supergirl in her underwear?
no, no. Is it tasteful or tasteless?
It depends on where
Oh,
you fall in the spectrum of you know empowering and freeing, or you know cheesecake.
there you go. Well, that's James Gunn, man. So it's a lot of Superman content, right? And then obviously the whole Matt Reeves Batman taking forever and a day to come out for his sequel, even though people tend to seem to like that one, but they're not combining it inside James Gunn. So it's just a lot of messiness. And the fact that he kept on some of the characters when it was under the original regime as opposed to starting from scratch. So now he's trying to
Mhm.
continue. So basically, this new DCU, to your point, I get what you're saying. It's like this whole new DCU. The reason why it feels disjointed and uninteresting is because it's kind of centered around characters that were one off to a one off. Peacemaker, right? And it's kind
Yeah,
of centered around that whole character. Let's be honest, and what James Gunn created with the Suicide Squad, because that was his little corner, right? But it's not connected to the overall whole. Whereas before, to his credit, he did create this whole Marvel world where they're with the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? The Galactic and Thanos, right? And he kind of, I don't think he introduced Thanos, but he was like, setting that storyline up. He did a good job of that, right? But he only had that one corner. He had to deal with how's that connect to the Avengers, or how's that connect to
right, right.
Spider-Man and all that, Black Panther. So I think, now that he's kind of in that world role, I think he's too much of an artist and not too much of a suit, where he's not seeing the whole tapestry. and
Yeah.
and
Uh,
that's what's probably not making it interesting, because is almost like who's gonna work with him if he's gonna be the single creative voice.
hmm. Yeah. I don't know, man. This
So
is
I
interesting.
don't know.
We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah. I was trying to find some more dirt here, but maybe we've had enough dirt.
dirt thrown
What do you
on
think
the
about
on the grave.
on the MCU and DCU? Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting just in general, seeing how all this plays out, because from the way it goes, and I've talked to enough people that just say, I think when people get, there's like an initial push, right? You have a product, comes out, initial push, it gets hype, and then there's the fall off stage where the the wave has crested, and you're not you're on the not, I want to say on the downcline, but you're falling from the crest. And at that
Mhm.
point, you're supposed to start, trying to level out and trying to keep a calm thing continuing. But at this point, I think a lot of people start freaking out. And it's like, dude, we got to grow. We got to do something different. And then they just start throwing out a bunch of other stuff. Like, you're familiar with In-N-Out, right? And places like
Mhm,
In-N-Out, Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, they basically do one kind of food. So if somebody says, "Hey, this is boring," why don't we add, a chicken sandwich to Chipotle? And you're like, not exactly what Chipotle's up for. And they're like, dude, we need something different, and you're not offering anything different. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to. It's extending the brand versus, um, oh, what is it? How did they phrase it? How did Reese phrase it? Al Reese, I forgot his name, but he calls it extending the brand or strengthening the brand. But a lot of people don't
mhm,
see the value in strengthening because it looks too much to what you just did before. It's like,
mm.
I'm in Chipotle. I want a chicken
Yeah, I
sandwich,
agree.
and I want Jamba Juice smoothies in the back. And it's like all of a sudden it changes what Chipotle is. So that's what I'm seeing in out of these hero shows. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to grow effectively. So
Mm. Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, we didn't talk about the Marvel of it all, but they released some new trailers for their or some new footage for their upcoming TV slate. Marvel, man, you mentioned it, or Wonder Man, excuse me, you mentioned it earlier, and I thought it was a different vibe. I like the little, kind of, boppy vibe of it. Are they going to keep that vibe? Is it going to be or is it going to be kind of too silly and too woke, quote unquote, like uh, a She-Hulk, which got people hated that one. They hated that one for passion. What do you think? Is Wonder Man going to be lambasted?
you see, they just keep throwing this stuff out there. It's like, oh my gosh, let people know what they're getting into. With this trailer, man, they just went. I guess that's the point of the trailer, to let people know what they're getting into. But there
Mm,
was no promo beforehand, like, hey, listen, this new Wonder Man is going to be very different. We're taking a new spin with it. Trailer just dropped out of nowhere. And it's like, yeah, back to the Chipotle example. It's like you walk into a Chipotle and it's like, hey man, have a Jamba Juice. You're like, what? I don't want a smoothie. I want to get my, rice and beans. What you talking about?
he
Yeah,
spit it up, throw it against the wall,
exactly.
slides down the wall.
You need a campaign saying, "Hey, listen, we're coming in with something different, something new. We're going to try this and add it to our menu." And you get start a conversation going. That's what that's what it is. You start a conversation with the market. There was no conversation with Wonder Man, and you can tell from the thumbnail that guy does not look like Wonder Man. Um,
Yep. So it's already too much for some people.
yeah.
Which, the rumor is this got filmed just like Ironheart several years ago. And so now they're trying to get it released in a different environment. So, unfortunately, art takes so long, especially movies and TV shows, that when you
Mhm.
film it or write it at the time, may not seem as this is relevant. This is of a timely matter, which is gonna be great when this comes out. And then when things change and shift, it's not as timely. But to your point, I think that should have been something in the promotion and communicating that. I thought this looked, I've been watching like
All right. So
Ironheart was fine. It introduced
exactly.
Mephisto, but
I'm
this will
sure
be
your Jamba
fine.
Juice will be
I'm
fine.
watching Marvel. I'm watching my. When I say fine, I mean look, it's mid. Let's be honest. Nothing earth shattering. I think the only one that was those were up there from a TV show was Loki. People think Loki season 2. I didn't like that much, but season 1 was great. And then I also thought WandaVision. Beyond that, they all been mid. Even Captain Black American Falcon, even though I love that part when he said, "This is like an old man to you."
Yeah. So yeah, trying to surprise and subvert expectations. I can't stand this out of the actor theatrical Hollywood types. You just look up any Wonder Man comic book cover and you've got action, the name, oh my god, even the font is way off base. And I say way off
Mm,
base, I mean it's way different. It's like, what are you presenting to me? You need to prepare people for something like this if you're going to do it.
Especially in this climate, yeah, especially in this climate. I mean, I think that's something you have to be mindful of, and then you're just gonna set up another person of color for failure,
Yeah,
right?
for
and,
yeah,
and
exactly,
vitriol,
exactly.
and
And then
vitriol, right? For no
you get
reason, and they're a great actor, and they're doing. I mean, the guy, if you ever see his performance, he did
mhm,
Mr. Manhattan, and
yeah,
what's it called?
Watchmen.
Now I'm drawing a blank. Watchmen. Great performance. I know that
Mhm.
guy had it in him. He was the same guy that played Mantis. Who knew? Great performance. And now, it's going to be kind of, put to the wall. So anyway, man, yeah, so anyway, Marvel, DCU, it just does seem like we're at a moment in time where things are kind of dissipating, and it is what it is. We've been talking about this stuff, wow, since we started this podcast. Our initial our initial vision was to kind of continue these conversations. And look, companies have built millions of viewers and followers, looking at you, new rock stars, looking at you, Screen Crush, based on this, sort of merch off of this stuff. And it's funny to see them scrambling, man. They're talking about horror now. They're pivoting toward
I
traditional.
haven't been
Wait,
keeping up.
wait, yeah, they've been to horror. They've been talking about rap, doing rap video breakdowns. It's hilarious, man, to
Right,
see
right. Oh
how
yeah,
they're how they're pivoting.
they brought the black girl in. I see her a lot more now because she knows music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why am I
So
seeing her so
they're
much? Like, oh right, she's a
yeah. So and then Screen Crush. I mean, they're still doing their little breakdowns, but even them are like, wow, we got to pivot here. So I think we had a moment. I mean, Grace is still doing her thing, but Grace has been around for she's like the OG, right? She's been around for a long, long time, so she ain't going nowhere. Even though I think she's a plant. I mean, we didn't talk about this, but we've kind of hinted at this. This Aries, Tron Aries came out, underperformed vastly, but it did seem like there was just a push. I don't know. I got whiff of some industry plantness going around, man. When you sent me that Gary V of it all, and then I saw her review of it, and she was all dressed up, and I was like,
yeah.
there's a whiff here, a whiff of bullshit.
I wonder. You know what? I didn't think about it when I sent it to you, but I wonder how much marketing they got from Gary Vee. Like how much he
A
was
lot.
like, you know what you should do? Yeah.
Well, they put him in the movie, right? Didn't he show up in the movie? I haven't seen it,
Yeah, he showed
but
up in the movie.
exactly, and he gonna promote the mess out of that. Why wouldn't he? Just like you get any influencer to show up, they're gonna promote it. Why you think they had Kai Cenat and Drewski at the BET Awards? You don't think they were telling their followers to go watch the BET Awards on? And they're like, "How do you watch the BET Awards?"
How do you watch the BET Awards? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'm just saying they
Yeah.
knew both of those guys from the internet. Now here they are, both going on a cable station to kind of promote and say, "Hey guys, go watch it live," right? I'm sure, and they had to
Yeah.
train their viewers to go find it live somewhere. But anyway, make a long story short, it did whiff of
That's
industry-ness.
yes. It's just
So
disappointing to me sometimes when I'm like, "Hey, go watch this," and you go follow the link, and it's like, "Hi, I see you're not a subscriber to NBC. If you're a
exactly.
local station, please click here." And I'm like, if you don't get out of my face with this
Oh, it's
local
terrible,
station,
Mr.
press the
Benja. It's
signal,
terrible now.
the
Especially
hoops you have
sports
to
now,
jump
man.
through, man. I'm like,
Man, especially sports now, man, it is terrible now. I'm trying to watch my Tampa Bay Bucks. I don't even know if they show up on my TV anymore. I like it. Luckily, I had Paramount. Luckily, I got Peacock. If I didn't have that stuff, I wouldn't know how to watch it anymore. Then I said, "Well, can I watch it on YouTube?" No, you got to sign up for this other thing. So yeah, man, it's getting
yeah,
very frustrating to watch what you want to watch anymore. But Mr.
ask
Benja,
me to call my
go ahead.
cable provider.
Don't do it.
No,
Don't do it.
no, I'm not doing it.
Because you don't have one.
I'm sorry. Exactly.
Did you want to get into these comics real quick?
Real quick on the comments, man. We got some haters, and we love the flame, so I'm all good with that. Um, check this out. People left comments. First of all, let me start with the good news before the bad news. The good news, uh, on the battle, another battle with Leonardo
Yeah, one
DiCaprio
bad
on that
after another.
trailer.
Yeah,
One battle
one
after
bad
another. I'm
after.
sorry.
Yeah,
Guy said this trailer didn't age so well given the Oscar power this movie's getting. Not all trailers need to give you a storyline. The trailers in the past had too much info and will spoil the storyline. This movie was great. Hey, that's great. I'm loving that the movie was great. As I said, as we say with all our trailer reactions, we're just responding to what the trailer's giving us and the information there. And yeah, it didn't give us much information. Did it make anyone want to see it aside from being Leonardo DiCaprio and having some interesting scenes? So my point of view is that it's supposed to come from, it's supposed to tell you what the story is about a little bit in a way that's exciting. And I just didn't think it did that. It had nothing to do with the actual movie. The movie could be fantabulous. And apparently it's getting Oscar power. But that doesn't mean it's great either. But apparently it's getting a lot of Oscar push. So glad for it. Glad you like the movie.
Yeah,
And
I
that
would
was,
I would say this. I
whoa,
saw
whoa,
yeah, I saw it
whoa, whoa.
twice.
That was
What?
from Neon Demon. I, I've actually never thought of a Neon Demon. That is an interesting username. I'm sorry. You said you like the movie.
Yeah. Shout out Neon Demon. Thank you so much for your comment, Neon Demon 43545. Yeah, I saw it twice. I saw it, by myself, and I saw it my wife, and I would say it's better than most, probably close to the
All right.
top movie of the year. I will say
Oh,
this is it's a little, yeah, but it's a little, but that's not saying much, man. Movies in 2025. You can count on one hand, maybe three fingers, good movies for the year. But anyway, I digress.
yeah.
I would just say that it's a little more political than it should be, and is a little bit more. It deals too much, somewhat, in some black female stereotypes that is just not as good as it could be. Even though the
Okay.
author, the director and writer is married to Maya Rudolph, who is the black actress from Saturday Night Live. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting. So he's speaking from his experience because he is a white dad and all that stuff and all those things that go into that. But it is very interesting of how he looks at black women in that movie. So, but yeah, go check it out if you haven't seen it, guys. And then thank you for your comment.
All right. Speaking of black women, Hater Day continues with Candace Owen responses. So we had a small little bit in our last in one of our shorts that said something about, hey, let's be honest, Candace Owens kind of got on with Turning Point and the black, downing the Black Lives Matter movement and all that, and that's how she got put on. And it's that's how she got put on, and she's continuing with that, and that causes issues, right? So somebody, Love Davina Howard says, clearly only watches clips of her videos. No, I've known about Candace Owens for a while. Listened to her. We both have. In short, without getting into it, problematic views on a lot of things. I even listened to her times on Joe Rogan. And when
Mm.
she was talking about, I don't trust a website unless it says .org at the end, and she meant it in all seriousness, as if you couldn't just buy a .org. Um, yeah, that's not even getting into the race stuff. That's like, oh no, it had a .org. I'm reading that site and I trust it. So that's just one thing. And also, she got thrown on the ADL now, so she's on the ADL website, uh, which means its own set of things. But we're talking about people turning their back on you and who you're aligned with. Well, the people she tried to align with aren't helping her out. So yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah, Candace Owens.
here's the funny part. Uh, that says that was a response that says clearly only watches clips of her videos, and that was a clip from one of our videos you're responding to. Just a thought. So Candace Owens part two. I forgot who posted this. Sorry I didn't get the name, but someone says, "I'll be the first to tell you that you expose yourself with your surface level take. You clearly don't watch her content or wear any stances and views. You may not agree with her, but to question her authenticity shows your ignorance." Thoughts, Theo?
I think we can question authenticity, especially when she say things that are true, blatantly not factual. And so, and I think it's okay to question. That's what the internet is supposed to be, right? And so, in my opinion, when you know you have your opinion to say that, hey, did we watch some of her stuff? Yeah, I've watched some of her stuff at length. I watch interviews with her, and some of her content and the basis of her stuff is based on, a lot of conspiracy things, right? And I mean, go look at her history. Why was she with Shapiro, right? And his network, and then got pushed out of that. And there's some views on the Jewish culture that she is very against right now. And so that's one of the things that kind of got her pushed back. So it does seem like, there is, this movement with her with just driving attention. Should go down rabbit holes with the whole Blake Lively incident, right? And what was going on with her and the what was that about, right? Was that attention driving and all that? She went down this rabbit hole of, who was the French PM's wife, and it was really a man, and there's all this. It's like, what are we talking about here? And so, look, she can have opinion. I can have opinion of her as well. And I get that she has her fans, but I just feel like it's something that you just have to be careful for when people. There's other influencers like that. Andrew Tate, who was blatantly out there saying things that were not true and not factual. And, he got banned. There was Alex Jones, similar. I mean, there's a lot of folks that,
Let me ask you
done
this.
this before.
Um, what does does authentic mean to you that you're looking up things, you're fact based, you're telling a specific truth with with verifiable information, or does authentic mean you're being true to yourself?
Okay, that's a fair point. We could be considered both ways. So the context I took the question, you may agree with her, but the question of authenticity shows your ignorance. So your ignorance of her, is she being who she is authentically herself? You may have a point there if you look at that point. But if you're looking at someone who is a bringing up facts and bringing questioning, insightful discourse of what she's bringing to bear. Now, yeah, I can question that. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yes, I get you, and I actually question her authenticity in both areas.
Ooh,
So,
you don't think she's being genuine? And you know what?
well, no,
That's a fair point too. That's a very fair point.
because sometimes it's like, hey, I did this because they were talking all this noise, and you know what? I'm just gonna go home, and I didn't actually believe that, but that guy over there said it, and whatever, I just said it too. So, you know, that's one level of authenticity. Does she believe everything she's saying? Um, so on both ends of it, I do question her. Like with Andrew Tate, like you mentioned, I know he's not. I know he's not authentic in a lot of stuff because he tells you if you
Yeah.
in certain points he's like, no, I just said that because whatever. No, I was on a podcast with a bunch of boneheads, so I just said this and to get them off my back. And it's like,
Exactly.
oh, okay, he's
Exactly.
not being authentic. He's being authentically inauthentic. Amazing.
Yeah. And guys, I think, thank you for your comments and look, appreciate it. We love the discourse. Yeah, I mean, look, you can question our points and I appreciate you taking time to write that. And we take all takers. I would just say this as we think about our podcast and growth we want to do, we want to be more authentically ourselves. And so, please keep to continue to question us. And so we can think through, are we just being performative or are we really bringing forth our truths? And so, and I think something I've been literally Mr. Benja, before we jumped this podcast, we talked about that, right? The realness, the search for that, and what kind of real experiences we're both going to bring to our audiences, right, in the future. Because I think that's what everybody's looking for. So yeah, that's what I'm really driving to be more authentic.
This is the question of the day. Is it an authentic performance or is it just authentically you? And there
Mm.
could be reasons to do both.
Yeah. I mean, as long as it's authentic in some capacity, if there's truth in it, I think people feel truth, and you can't fake truth, real
Unless you're on
truth.
Truth Social.
Unless it's AI.
You can't, you can't fake truth. Somebody's out there, shoo, watch me prompt this
Hey,
truth.
hold my beer. So, hey guys, this has been fun, Mr. Benjamin. What you got planned for the week?
Oh man, just more hitting the DMs, reconnecting with people, touching grass, you know.
Touching grass. I like that term. Yeah, touch that grass, son. Touch that grass. All right. Mr.
Yeah.
Benja gonna be out in these streets, man. Promotion. I love it, man. You about to be in the mix. Yeah. Yeah. Let's get in the mix. I love it. So I'm ready to see you out there, man. Guys, yeah, me and Mr. Benja, I'm back in the grind, man. We got what 5 more weeks before, shut it down. So I'm gonna push for the end of the year, man. And super excited. Yeah, man. Yeah, just doing all the things, man. Super, super excited what we're building here at my company and also with Show versus Business. So, guys, look, thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and comment at Show versus Business on X, Threads, YouTube, and Instagram. Listen to us at Spotify, iTunes, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Look, if you want to check us out, go visit our website at Show versus Business. All right, Mr. Benja, have a good one.
Peace.